Hey Olive, Arlo, and Frank. Grandpa coming to you from Watson, and today we're in Leviticus chapter 8. So let's dive right in. We're going to look at the ordination of the priests and some other things. Chapter 8 verse 1 says, Then the Lord spoke to Moses, take Aaron, so Aaron is the high priest, Moses' brother Aaron, and his sons with him, and the garments, the anointing oil, the sin offering bull, so it's an animal, the 2 rams, and the basket of unleavened bread. So there's going to be 2 rams, a bull, and a bunch of matzah. And assemble the whole congregation at the entrance of the meeting tent. So this is the tabernacle grounds, and they're going to have millions of people there. This is going to happen in front of millions of people. So Moses did just as the Lord commanded him, and the congregation assembled at the entrance of the meeting tent. Then Moses said to the congregation, This is what the Lord has commanded to be done. So he's still doing the same things that he was doing in the book of Exodus. He would, God would tell him, you want to do this, and he would do it. You need to get him to build this, and he would do it. So he's still, this is sort of a continuation of the book of Exodus. So Moses brought Aaron and his sons forward and washed them with water. So this is an ablution. This is a ritual washing. It doesn't, it's not like they used soap in this washing. He then put the tunic, and so this is a shirt, and it's kind of like an undershirt. Then he put the tunic on Aaron, wrapped the sash around him, and clothed him with the robe. And these are all things that they made in the book of Exodus. Next he put the ephod on him and placed on him the decorated band of the ephod and fastened the ephod closely to him with the band. He then set the breastpiece on him and put the Urim and Thummim. And the Urim and Thummim are these 2 objects used to determine God's will. So we don't know if they were like dice or 2 rocks. One was black and one was white, and we don't know how they were used, but they existed. And put the Urim and Thummim into the breastpiece. Finally, he set the turban on his head and attached the gold plate, the holy diadem, to the front of the turban, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. And I'm not trying to explain each one of these things in depth because I want to read the Bible to you. You can spend a lot of time studying this, and you should. I've spent a lot of time studying it. But my suggestion is you go online and look up what the priest would look like, and then read this yourself and go, okay, well, what did this guy look like? It's pretty amazing. So now they're going to anoint the tabernacle and Aaron, and then they're going to clothe Aaron's sons, who will be the priests. He's the high priest, and they'll be his priests. Then Moses took the anointing oil and anointed the tabernacle and everything in it, and so consecrated them. Next he sprinkled some of it on the altar 7 times, and so anointed the altar, all its vessels, and the wash basin, and its stand, to consecrate them. He then poured some of the anointing oil on the head of Aaron, and anointed him to consecrate him. So consecrate him means to dedicate him to being a priest. Moses also brought forward Aaron's sons, clothed them with tunics, wrapped sashes around them, and wrapped headbands on them, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. So, and if I remember correctly, that the high priest, his clothing was mostly blue and some of it was white, and then he had the gold stuff on him, and but his sons, they wore pure white. So here's consecration offerings, because of course they're consecrating these guys, there's going to be offerings made. Then he brought near the sin offering bull, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the sin offering bull, and he slaughtered it. So Moses is doing this. Moses then took the blood and put it all around on the horns of the altar with his finger, and decontaminated the altar, so he made it pure. And he poured out the rest of the blood at the base of the altar, and so consecrated it to make atonement on it. Then he took all the fat on the entrails, the protruding lobe of the liver, and the 2 kidneys and their fat, and Moses offered it all up in smoke on the altar. But the rest of the bull, its hide is the skin, its flesh, and its dung, the poop that's still in it, he completely burned up outside the camp, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. So if you remember, you have to take your clothes off, put different clothes on, take that stuff out, and burn it outside of the area there. So they would take it actually outside of the camp, not just outside of the tabernacle area. There's millions of people there. You're going to the suburbs and burning this. We think of this as a few people standing there, and so you're going to go 10 feet away and burn this stuff. No, you're taking it past the tents where millions of people live. Then he presented the burnt offering ram, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the ram, and he slaughtered it. Moses then splashed the blood against the altar's sides. Then he cut the ram into parts, and Moses offered the head, the parts, and the suet up in smoke. But the entrails and the legs he washed with water, and Moses offered the whole ram up in smoke on the altar. It was a burnt offering for a soothing aroma, a gift to the Lord, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. So they're burning the whole, the meat of the animal that's left, that's there. The whole thing, they're just up in smoke. Then he presented the second skinny pages. The second ram, the ram of ordination. So I think the first ram was consecration, and this one is the ordination. And that's what they do with a priest. You ordain a priest. So you consecrate them, you set them aside, and then you ordinate them, which means to make them priests. And Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the ram. So now this is them doing it. It's not Moses. And he slaughtered it. Moses then took some of its blood and put it on Aaron's right earlobe, on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot. I've heard people explain why he did that. There's all kinds of interesting explanations. All I know is it happened because the Bible said it did. Next, he brought Aaron's sons forward, and Moses put some of the blood on their right earlobes, on their right thumbs, and on the big toes of their right feet. And Moses splashed the rest of the blood against the altar's sides. Then he took the fat, the fatty tail, all the fat on the entrails, the protruding lobe of the liver, and the 2 kidneys and their fat, and the right thigh, and from the basket of unleavened bread that was before the Lord, he took 1 unleavened loaf, 1 loaf of bread mixed with olive oil, and 1 wafer, and placed them on the fat parts and on the right thigh. He then put all of them on the palms of Aaron and his sons, who waved them as a wave offering before the Lord. And remember, you wave it. Moses then took them from their palms and offered them up in smoke on the altar on top of the burnt offering. They were an ordination offering for a soothing aroma. It was a gift to the Lord. Finally, Moses took the breast and waved it as a wave offering before the Lord from the ram of ordination. It was Moses' share, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. So Moses gets some ribs, I guess, some beef ribs. Then Moses took, so now they're going to anoint Aaron, his sons, and their garments. Then Moses took some of the anointing oil and some of the blood which was on the altar and sprinkled it on Aaron and his garments, and on his sons and his sons' garments with him. So he consecrated Aaron, his garments, and his sons' garments with him. Then Moses said to Aaron and his sons, "Boil the meat at the entrance of the meeting tent, and there you are to eat it, and the bread which is in the ordination offering basket, just as I have commanded, saying, Aaron and his sons are to eat it." So this is turning into a barbecue right now. And a lot of these, most of the offerings are barbecues. But the remainder of the meat and the bread you must burn with fire, so there's no leftovers. And you must not go out from the entrance of the meeting tent for 7 days, until the day when your days of ordination are completed, because you must be ordained over a 7-day period. What has been done on this day, the Lord has commanded to be done to make atonement for you. You must reside at the entrance of the meeting tent day and night for 7 days, and keep the charge of the Lord, so that you will not die. For this is what I have been commanded. So Aaron and his sons did all the things the Lord had commanded through Moses. So a lot of things we don't understand. God's ways are not our ways. But he wants you to stay there 7 days. And if you don't, you're going to die. I say, stay there 7 days. See you in chapter 9. Peace out.